The Knight's Tale. Part 2. Now when Arcite got to Thebes again, day-long he languished, crying out in pain. Alas, for never could he hope to see his lady more, to sum his misery. There never was a man so woebegone, nor is, nor shall be while the world goes on. Meat, drink, and sleep, he lay of all bereft, thin as a shaft, as dry with nothing left. His eyes were hollow, grisly to behold, fallow his face, like ashes pale and cold. And he went solitary and alone, wailing away the night and making moan. And if the sound of music touched his ears, he wept, unable to refrain his tears. So feeble were his spirits and so low, and changed so much, one could not even know him by his voice. One heard and was in doubt. And so for all the world he went about, not merely like a lover on the rack of Eros, but more like a maniac, in melancholy madness, under strain of fantasy, those cells that front the brain. Briefly, his love had turned him upside down, in looks and disposition, toed a crown. This poor distracted lover, Prince Arcite. But I shall take all day if I repeat all that he suffered for the first 2 years, in cruel torment and in painful tears, at Thebes, in his home country, as I said. Now as he lay one night asleep in bed, the winged god Mercury, he thought, came near, and stood before him, bidding him have good cheer. His sleep-imbuing wand he held in air. He wore a hat upon his golden hair, arrayed Arcite noticed in the guise he wore when closing up the 100 eyes of Argus, and he said, "You are to go to Athens, there shall be an end to woe." He spoke, Arcite started and woke up. "Truly, however bitter be my cup, to Athens I will go at once," he said, "nor will I change my purpose for the dread of death, for I will see her, I can die gladly enough if she be standing by." He rose and snatched a mirror from its place, and saw what change had come upon his face. The color gone, the features redesigned, and instantly it came into his mind that being so disfigured and so wan from the long sickness he had undergone, he might, if he assumed a humble tone, live out his life in Athens unbeknown, and see his lady almost every day. So on the spot, he doffed his lord's array, and dressed as a poor laborer seeking hire. Then all alone, except for a young squire, who knew the secret of his misery, and was disguised as wretchedly as he went to Athens by the shortest way, and came to court, and on the following day, Arcite proffered at the gate for hire, to do what drudgery they might require. And briefly, there is little to explain. He fell in service with a chamberlain, who had his dwelling there with Emelye. The man was cunning and was quick to see what work the servants did, and which were good. Arcite could carry water or hew wood, for he was young and powerfully grown, a tall young fellow too, and big of bone, fit to do any work that was ordained. Thus, for a year or two, Arcite remained with Emelye the bright, her page of state, and gave it out his name was Philostrate, and half so well beloved a man as he there never was at court, of his degree. He was so much a gentleman by breed. He grew quite famous through the court indeed, and it would be a charitable notion, they said, if Theseus offered him promotion, and put him to a service less despised, in which his virtues might be exercised. Thus in a little while his fame had sprung, both for good deeds and for a courteous tongue. And Theseus took him and advanced him higher, made him his personal and chamber squire, and gave him money to maintain his station. There came, moreover, men of his own nation, secretly, year by year, and brought his dues. He spent them cunningly, these revenues, but honestly, none wondered at his wealth. 3 years went by in happiness and health. He bore himself so well in peace and war, that there was no one Theseus valued more. I leave him there in bliss, though bliss is brittle, and turn to speak of Palamon a little. In darkness horrible and prison tears, poor Palamon has sat for 7 years, pinning away in sorrow and distress, who feels a twofold grief and heaviness. But Palamon, whom love oppresses so, that he has lost his very wits for woe, added to which he must lie prisoner there, perpetually, not only for a year, who could make rhymes in English fit to vie with martyrdom like that, indeed not I. Let me pass lightly over it and say, it happened in the 7th year, in May, the 3rd of May, my ancient sources give this detail in their fuller narrative, whether by accident or destiny, for as events are shaped they have to be. Soon after midnight, ere the sun had risen, helped by a friend, Palamon broke from prison and fled the town as fast as he could go. A drink had proved his jailer's overthrow, a kind of honeyed claret he had fixed, with Theban opium and narcotics mixed. The jailer slept all night. Had he been shaken, he would have been impossible to waken. So off runs Palamon as best he may. The night was short, and it was nearly day, so it was necessary he should hide into a grove that flanked the city's side. Palamon stalked with terror-stricken feet. Here was, in his opinion, a retreat in which he could conceal himself all day, and whence at nightfall he could make his way on towards Thebes and rally at his back a host of friends all eager to attack. Duke Theseus, he would either lose his life or conquer and win Emelye to wife. That was his whole intention, fair and plain. I turn my story to Arcite again. He little knew how close he was to care, till fortune brought him back into the snare. The busy lark, the messenger of day, sings salutation to the morning gray, and fiery Phoebus, rising up so bright, sets all the orient laughing with the light, and with his streams he dries the dewy sheaves, and silver droplets hanging on the leaves. And now Arcite, at the royal court, principal squire to Theseus, seeking sport, has risen from bed and greets the merry day, thinking to do observances to May, and musing on the point of his desires. He rode a courser full of flickering fires into the fields for pleasure and in play, a mile or two from where the palace lay, and to the very grove you heard me mention. He chanced to hold his course with the intention to make himself a garland. There he weaves a hawthorn spray and honeysuckle leaves, and sings aloud against the sunny sheen. O month of May, with all thy flowers and green, welcome be thou, O fairest, freshest May. Give me thy green, in hope of happy day. Quickly dismounting from his horse, he started to thrust his way into the grove, light-hearted, and roamed along the pathway, on and on, until he came by chance where Palamon crouched in a bush, scarce daring to draw breath, lest he be seen, in deadly fear of death. He little knew it was Arcite he heard. It would have seemed incredible, absurd. Yet there's a saying, known these many years: fields have their eyes, and forests have their ears. It's well to be upon one's guard, I mean, since all day long we meet the unforeseen. And little knew Arcite that there, beside him, Palamon lay, with but a bush to hide him, so close to him, and hearing all he said, but keeping still and silent as the dead. Now when at last Arcite had roamed his fill, and sung his roundel with a lusty will, he felt a change of humor, for the nonce, and fell into a study all at once, as do these lovers in their quaint desires, now on the spray, now down among the briars, now up, now down like buckets in a well. Just as upon a Friday, truth to tell, it shines one moment, and the next rains fast. For thus can whimsical Venus overcast the spirits of her folk, just as her day. Friday is changeable, and so too are they. Seldom is Friday like the rest of the week. And having sung, Arcite began to speak, and sat him down, unutterably forlorn. Alas, he said, the day that I was born. How long, O Juno, in thy cruelty, wilt thou make war and bring to misery the city of Thebes, and those that played the lion, the royal blood of Cadmus and Amphion? Cadmus, the first of men to win renown, by building Thebes, or first in laying down her strong foundations, first to be crowned her king. And I that share his lineage, I that spring, by right descent out of the royal stock, have fallen captive and am made a mock, slave to my mortal enemy, no higher than a contemptible, a menial squire. Yet Juno does me even greater shame. I dare no more acknowledge my own name. Time was Arcite was my name by right. Now I'm called Philostrate, not worth a mite. Alas, fell Mars, ah Juno, stern of face, you have undone our lineage and our race. Save for myself and Palamon, who dwells in martyrdom, poor wretch in Theseus' cells. On top of this, to slay me utterly, the fiery dart of love so burningly thrusts through my faithful heart with deadly hurt. My death was shaped for me before my shirt. You kill me with your eyes, my Emelye. You are the cause that brings my death on me. All the remainder of my cares and needs I'd rate no higher than a mound of weeds, could I but please or earn a grateful glance. And on the word he fell into a trance. A long, long time, then woke and moved apart. Palamon felt a cleaving in his heart, as of a cold sword suddenly gliding through. He quaked with anger, hiding would not do, now that he'd listened to Arcite's tale. And with a madman's face, extinct and pale, he started up out of his bushy thicket, and cried, Arcite, traitor, false and wicked, now you're caught that love my lady so, for whom I suffer all this pain and woe, and of my blood, sworn friend, for so we swore, as I have told you many times before. And you have cheated Theseus with this game, false as you are, of a pretended name. Let it be death for you, or death for me. You shall not love my lady Emelye. I no one else will love her, look and know that I am Palamon your mortal foe. And though I have no weapon in this place, having escaped from prison by God's grace, I doubt it not you shall be slain by me, or else yield up the love of Emelye. You shan't escape me, therefore choose your part. Arcite, however, full of scorn at heart, knowing his face and hearing what he said, fierce as a lion drew his sword instead, and answered him, by God that sits above, were you not sick and lunatic for love, and weaponless moreover in this place, you never should so much as take a pace beyond this grove, but perish at my hand. And I denounce all covenants that stand, or are alleged, as between you and me. Fool that you are, remember love is free, and I will love her, I defy your might. Yet, as you are an honorable knight, willing by battle to decide your claim, tomorrow, by the honor of my name, I will not fail you, nor will make it known to anyone, tomorrow here alone. You'll find me as a knight, and on my oath, I shall bring arms and harness for us both, and you shall have the right of choosing first, taking the best and leaving me the worst. I'll bring you meat and drink, let that be said, enough for you, and clothes to make your bed. As for my lady, should you chance to win, and kill me in this thicket we are in, then you can have your lady, as for me. And Palamon gave answer, I agree. And thus they parted at the coppice edge, until the morning, each had given pledge. O Cupid, Cupid, lost to charity, O realm that brooks no fellow king in thee, well is it said that neither love nor power admit a rival, even for an hour. Arcite and Palamon had found that out. So back to town Arcite turned about, and the next morning, ere the day was light, he filched 2 suits of armor by a sleight, fully sufficient for the work in hand, the battle in the fields that they had planned. Alone as at his birth Arcite rode, and carried all the armor in a load. There in the grove where time and place were set, this Palamon and this Arcite are met, then slowly changed the color in each face, just as when hunters in the realm of Thrace, that standing in the gap will poise a spear, and wait for bear or lion to appear, then hear him coming, breaking through the branches, and hear the swish of leaves upon his haunches, and think, here comes my mortal enemy. It's either death for him or death for me, for either I must slay him at this gap, or he slay me if I should have mishap. just so these knights changed color when they met. Knowing each other and the purpose set, there was no salutation, no good day, but without word or prelude straight away. Each of them gave his help to arm the other, as friendly as a brother with his brother. And after that, with spears of sharpened strength, they fought each other at amazing length. You would have thought, seeing Palamon engage, he was a lion fighting mad with rage. Arcite a cruel tiger, as they beat, and smote each other, or as boars that meet, and froth as white as foam upon the flood. They fought till they were ankle-deep in blood. And in this rage I leave them fighting thus, and turn once more to speak of Theseus. Now Destiny, that minister general, who executes on earth and over all, what God from everlasting has foreseen, is of such strength that though the world had been sure of the contrary, by yea and nay, that thing will happen on a certain day, though never again within 1,000 years. And certainly our appetites and fears, whether in war or peace, in hate or love, are governed by a providence above. Thus must explain why mighty Theseus found a sudden wish to hunt with horse and hound, especially the hart in early May. About his bed there never dawned a day, but he was up and ready dressed to ride, with horn and hound and hunter at his side. Hunting to him was such a keen delight. It was his ruling joy and appetite. To be a stag's destroyer for the stars, ruled he should serve Diana after Mars. Clear was the day, as I have told ere this, and Theseus, bathed in happiness and bliss, with fair Hippolyta, his lovely queen, and Emelye, who was arrayed in green, rode out to hunt. It was a royal band, and to the coppice lying near at hand, in which a hart, or so they told him, lay. He led his gathering by the shortest way, and pressing on towards a glade in sight, down which the hart most often took to flight, over a brook and off and out of view. The Duke had hopes to try a course or two, with certain hounds that he had singled out. And when he reached the glade he looked about, glancing towards the sun he thereupon beheld Arcite fighting Palamon. They fought like boars in bravery, there go the shining swords in circle, to and fro, so hideously that with their lightest stroke, it seemed as if they would have felled an oak. What they could be he did not know, of course, but he clapped spur at once into his horse, and at a bound he parted blow from blow, and pulling out his sword he shouted, "Ho! No more on pain of death, upon your head. By mighty Mars, he is as good as dead, that dares to strike a blow in front of me. Tell me, what sort of fellows may you be, that have the impudence to combat here, without a judge or other overseer, yet as if jousting at a royal tilt?" Palamon answered quickly and in guilt, "O sir, what need of further word or breath? Both of us have deserved to die the death. 2 wretched men, your captives, met in strife, and each of them encumbered with his life. If to judge righteously has been your fashion, show neither of us mercy nor compassion, and kill me first for holy charity, but kill my fellow too, the same as me. Or kill him first, for little though you know, this is Arcite, and your mortal foe, banished by you on forfeit of his head, for which alone he merits to be dead. This is the man that waited at your gate, and told you that his name was Philostrate. This is the man that mocked you many a year, and you have made him chief equerry here. This is the man who dares love Emelye. Now, since my day of death has come to me, I will make full confession and go on to say I am that woeful Palamon that broke out of your jail feloniously, and it is I, your mortal enemy, that am in love with Emelye the bright, and glad to die this moment in her sight. And so I ask for judgment and for death, but slay my fellow in the self-same breath, since we have both deserved that we be slain." And noble Theseus answered back again, "This is a short conclusion, it shall stand. Your own confession damns you out of hand. I shall record your sentence as it stood. There needs no torturing to make it good. Death you shall have, by mighty Mars the Red." On hearing this, the queen began to shed her womanly tears, and so did Emelye, and all the ladies in the company. It seemed so very piteous to them all, that ever such misfortune should befall, for they were noblemen of great estate, and love the only cause of their debate. They saw their bloody gashes gaping wide, and from the greatest to the least, they cried, "Have mercy, Lord, upon us women all." Down on their knees, they then began to fall, ready to kiss his feet as there he stood, abated in the end his angry mood. Pity runs swiftly in a noble heart. Though he had quaked with anger at the start, he had reflected, having time to pause, upon their trespass and upon its cause. And though his anger at their guilt was loth to pardon either, reason pardoned both. For thus he argued, almost any man will help himself to love, if so he can. And anyone will try to break from prison. And then compassion in his heart had risen, seeing these ladies weeping there together. And in his noble heart he wondered whether he should not show his clemency, and fie, he thought, on lords who show no mercy. Why? To be a lion both in word and deed, to a penitent in fear, is not to heed his change of heart, and equal him with one proudly persisting in an evil done. A lord will lack discretion among his graces, who does not make distinction in such cases, but weighs humility and pride as one. And to be brief, his anger being done, his eyes began to sparkle and uncloud, and having taken thought, he said aloud, "The God of love, ah, benedicite! How mighty and how great a Lord is he! No obstacles for him make any odds. His miracles proclaim his power a God's. Cupid can make of every heart and soul just what he pleases, such is his control. Look at Arcite here and Palamon. Both had escaped scot-free and could have gone to Thebes and lived there royally. They know that I have ever been their mortal foe. Their lives are mine, they can make no defense. Yet Cupid, in the teeth of common sense, has brought them here to die in melancholy. Consider, is it not the height of folly? What is so foolish as a man in love? Look at them both, by God that sits above. See how they bleed, are they not well arrayed? Thus has their Lord, the God of love, repaid their services. These are his fees and wages. And yet, in spite of that, they pose as sages, these devotees of love, as I recall. But still this is the finest stroke of all, that she, the cause of all these jolly pranks, has no more reason to return them thanks than I, and knows no more of this affair, by God, than does a cuckoo or a hare. Well, well, try anything once, come hot, come cold. If we're not foolish young, we're foolish old. I long have known myself, what love can do. For in my time, I was a lover too. And therefore, knowing something of love's pain, how violently it puts a man to strain, as one so often caught in the same snare, I readily forgive the whole affair, both at the queen's request, that on her knees petitions, and my sister Emelye's. But you shall swear to me, and give your hands upon it never to attack my lands, or levy war on me by night or day, but be my friends in everything you may. I pardon you your fault, you are forgiven. They swore as he had asked, and having striven to gain his patronate and further grace, were satisfied, and Theseus summed the case. So far as riches go, and nobleness, were she a queen in question, or princess, you would be worthy when the moment came, either of you to marry, all the same. Speaking as for my sister Emelye, the cause of all your strife and jealousy, you are aware yourselves that she can never wed both at once, though you should fight forever. And one of you, come joy to him or grief, must go pipe tunes upon an ivy leaf. That is to say, she cannot have you both, however jealous you may be, or loth. And so, to put the matter in good order, let destiny herself be your rewarder, and shape your fortune, listen to the close. For here is the solution I propose. My will is this, to make a flat conclusion, and end all counterpleading and confusion. And you will please to take it for the best, that each shall take his freedom, east or west, and without ransom or constraint of war. And a year later, neither less nor more, each shall return, bringing 100 knights, armed for the lists and everything to rights, ready by battle to decide his claim. To Emelye, to this I give my name, my faith and honor, as I am a knight, whichever of you proves of greater might, or, more precisely, whether you or he, backed by the 100 knights allowed by me, can drive his foe to stake or take his life. To him I shall give Emelye to wife, to whom kind fortune gives so fair a grace. I'll build the lists upon this very place, and God and wisdom deal my soul its due, as I shall prove an even judge and true. There is no other way, let that be plain. One of you must be taken or else slain. And if this seems to you to be well said, think yourselves lucky, sirs, and nod your head. That's the conclusion I've decided on. Who looks delighted now but Palamon? And who springs up rejoicing but Arcite? And who could tell, what poetry repeat, the joy of all those present in the place, that Theseus had vouchsafed so fair a grace? Down on their knees went everyone in sight, returning thanks with all their heart and might, especially the Thebans, time on time. Thus in good hope, with beating heart a climb, each took his leave, and they began to ride to Thebes and to her ancient walls and wide.